Hello, my name's Tony and welcome back to Fragdicted. I'm going to be going over a new fragrance house. It is a niche fragrance house called Ilk Perfumes. Stay right where you are. So who are Ilk Perfumes? They have been created by the lovely Holly Hutchinson over at Memoirs Perfumes, along with Annabella Smith. So they are a unisex niche fragrance house that some of the fragrances have been designed to layer together. The scents are inspired by human nature, moods, characteristics, but they are layerable and adaptive to reflect and celebrate many nuances. Ilk is a very old Scottish word with varied interpretations, but the company's interpretation is referring to the contradictions in who we are. So they are celebrating that with their awesome collection of layerable scents inspired by human nature. They will come in 50 ml sizes. They will be retailing at about £118. I will leave the link to the company's website below in the description, and you can also follow them over on Instagram. I'll leave that here, and I'll also leave the link below. So I'm going to be doing just a quick whistle stop tour of each fragrance to give you an idea of what they're like. Then I will run through the recommended layerable suggestions. So the first fragrance I'd like to talk to you about is Sincere. Let me just give this a quick spray and then I'll run through the notes with you. So in the top we have peach nectar, warm milk and orange blossom. In the mid we have creamy ylang-ylang and orris ambrette. And in the base we have saffron, amber and coconut musk. So you can see from the notes, this is stunning. What does it smell like? It smells to me like a creamy, sweet, peachy, milky pina colada. I really like this one. There's no florals in it. And I love that sweet peach cocktail that's using coconut milk. It's like something from the Caribbean, but it's got a lovely spice to it too. The spices really give it some balance to the sweetness. And it gives it this real addictive quality. I don't know if you've ever seen them as well, but it also reminds me of one of those peach and cream sweets you get. I'll put a picture on the screen for you. So this is the first one I've tried and I love it. So the next fragrance is called Devious. Let me run through the notes on this one for you. In the top we have spiced bergamot, bitter almond and amaretto. In the mid we have cherry liqueur, chambord, cyanide and nutmeg. And in the base we have cardamom, tonka, vanilla and sandalwood. So as you can see from the notes again, this is unbelievable. It reminds me a little bit of Tom Ford's Lost Cherry, but there is more going on. And one thing's for sure, it definitely lasts longer. It has an amazing pop in the opening, and it really reminds me of a spiced cherry crumble or a alcoholic cherry bakewell. Just sounds yummy. It's an amazingly well blended fragrance. Nothing ever takes over from another note. It has this real creamy, sweet, vanillic dry down. The whole composition reminds me a little bit of a cherry coke with amaretto, so a boozy cherry coke. This is awesome, love it. Next we have one called Libertine. Let me run through the notes with you. So in the top we have bitter orange, cognac and wax. In the mid we have orange flower, dark rose, cumin and saffron. And in the base we have Casanova leather, amber and dark woods. So this has a heavy cognac, boozy opening with some warm spices, and then the hint of the orange starts to come through. As it starts to dry down, the leather starts to shine through. It reminds me of a much nicer, less challenging version of Stash by Sarah Jessica Parker. There's a dark floral lurking in there, which is always present. It's very bold. There's not a lot of sweetness in this fragrance, but the quality really shines through. It's woody throughout. I get like a slight smokiness from it too. I think this really comes into its own in the dry down. It's taken me a while to get used to this. I think this leans slightly more masculine, but what's really impressed me is the quality. Another awesome choice. Next, we're going to be talking about Fantasist. Let me give this a quick spray. This is really fruity. It's a fruity floral. Let me run through the notes with you. In the top, we have grapefruit, cannabis, yes, cannabis, pink peppercorn, and apple. In the mid, we have Arabian jasmine and coffee. And in the base, we have tonka bean, incense, musk, and pink praline. This, on the masculine feminine scale, to me leans slightly on the more feminine side, but I would definitely be confident enough to wear it. It has a really loud opening. The fruity florals really smack you in the face. Really unique. I found it very difficult to pick out the individual notes. I got these through before I got the notes through, so I was smelling them blind. I couldn't pick up much in this. I knew there were fruits in it, I knew there were florals in it, but I couldn't tell you what they were, which is a testament to how well it's blended.
Either that or I'm just rubbish.
Now I know the notes, it does become a little easier. I get a sweet, soft apple, so not like a Granny Smith, it's not tart, it's more like a soft pink lady. I get just that hint of coffee. I wouldn't say it's a coffee heavy fragrance at all. It just lurks in the background. It's not bitter, so it's more of a cappuccino coffee. It has a thick, almost creamy composition to it. Very interesting. The performance on all of these so far is incredible. This has insane performance. It literally sticks to your skin. Next, let's talk about Infatuated. Let me give this a quick spray. So in the top we have pepper, apple blossom, pear and custard. In the mid we have juniper, saffron, cedarwood, lavender and a wet grass accord. In the base we have dry amber, frankincense, sandalwood, vanilla, musk, tonka bean and oud. This would make a great base to layer any of these fragrances. It has a blast of spice and smoky frankincense.
In the opening,
I get almost like a ginger accord, although that's not listed. Very strange. The oud is never overpowering, but if you like oud, I think you'd love this. It's really classy and really well done. It's quite a dark fragrance and to me leans slightly masculine. It smells quite Eastern. It's very niche and it is deeply woody. On to the next one. So the next fragrance is called Virtuous. This is completely different to the others so far. Let me run through the notes. It has watery basil, thyme, wormwood in the opening. In the mid we have stone steps, sage, lily and sacred violet. In the base it has ancient incense.
Try saying that 10 times fast.
Oakwood, moss and worn leather.
Not new.
This is an aquatic fragrance but with a big edge, a sharp edge. It opens a little citrusy, which did fade away quite quickly. It's just ever so slightly green, tiny, teeny hint of floral. It's very fresh and light. It's quite ozonic and it's watery and salty. It smells a little bit like rain on concrete, but there is a lingering, addictive smokiness to it. But that's never overpowering. It just lingers there in the background. It has a smoky earthiness to it too. Again, I think this leans slightly masculine, but I think that's not a surprise with a combination of the leather, the woods, the incense and the moss. Going back to the opening, it has an almost minty herbal nature to it. I absolutely love this too. It is definitely one of my favourites.
I want it. Stay with me, we only have 2 left.
Next we have Realist.
Sorry, that just went in my eye.
In the top we have bergamot, lemon, yuzu and pepper. In the mid we have marine, petitgrain, cedarwood, rose and black tea. In the base we have vetiver, everlasting flower, amber, incense and hinoki wood. This is bright, it's loud. It has a real authentic citrus in the opening. This is summer in a bottle. Package the sun, the water, the sea salt, the air with some citruses. Put it in a bottle, that's what you get. There's a hint of spice to this that creates a uniqueness. It's really smooth. And I absolutely adore the way it's settled on the skin. This is bang in the middle of the unisex chart. Another gorgeous fragrance. We're on to the last one. This is called Nonchalant. Sounds like me. Try not to get this one in my eye. Ooh, it's different. In the top we have juicy orange, raspberry and red berries, and some pepper. In the mid we have cinnamon, geranium, French rose, citrus, violet, and orange blossom. In the base we have patchouli, musky olibanum, benzoin and vanilla. This opens fizzy and floral, but with lots of fruit. Sweet, it's powdery. If it was a colour, I would choose a pastel violet colour. Reminds me just a touch of raspberry and vanilla by Pocket Scents. Only a touch. It has a slight spicy edge to it, which mixes perfectly. So the sweetness or the florals or the fruits never become too much. The rose and the violet become really prominent as the fruits start to die down. It reminds me slightly of a Parma Violet Sweet. Or Love Hearts. Love this. Right, so that's the fragrances done. Let me just give you some examples of where you could layer these and the different combinations that Ilk recommend would go well together. You could put fantasist with realist. If you put the fantasist over the realist, you'll get a fresher, greener scent. If you put it the other way round, it will become a little bit more fruity. That's the way I would prefer it. Next, devious and sincere. This is my favourite combination. So if you put devious on top of sincere, it becomes this amaretto, sour, sticky cherry spice. Or swap it round for something slightly softer with a pure almond and cream lift. Another recommendation is infatuated and nonchalant. Put nonchalant on top for a spicy berry twist. Or put them the other way round and you get a slightly darker ambery finish. The last recommendation is libertine and virtuous. If you put libertine over virtuous, you get a more intense hit of brandy and orange. Or flip them round and it becomes more subtle. So you might need to spritz virtuous just a little bit more and then you'll get a slightly heady aromatic edge. So I hope you enjoyed my overview of a new awesome fragrance house called Ilk. I'm really looking forward to layering these more and finding out what I like more. There are definitely 3 or 4 I would love to own. My favourites are devious, virtuous, nonchalant and sincere. Really solid releases. Really looking forward to hearing a lot more about the brand. Hope to see them on your shelf soon. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, all the stuff you know. I don't need to go into it every video, do I? But I do. Have you liked the video yet? Like. Don't forget to keep smelling wonderful.